Hello, beautiful souls. This is Ona. Welcome back to Art of Awakening, and this is the annual reading for 2022. And I'm going to do this a little bit differently than my previous annual readings. In prior years, I always did like a month-to-month, kind of play down of the whole year. And this year, it just feels like the timelines are really shifty. And so I really want to steer away from doing any kind of thing that might at all be predictive, and really more working on just asking for guidance, asking for support for this year, because this is really going to be an interesting year. I am actually so excited for 2022 because it feels like I just personally have felt a really big shift happening, and it feels like, yeah, we're going to be opening, or we've just really stepped into just another level of this whole ascension journey that we've been moving through. And it may not be fun, but it feels like this is where the rubber is going to meet the road here in 2022. It feels like this is where we who have been working on our ascension process, have been learning, have been, coming into alignment with ourselves more and more. And wherever you are in your journey, this is a year where it's really going to ask us all to to draw on all that we've learned, and all that we've learned in this lifetime and prior lifetimes, and just to bring all of ourselves to play here. And really, we are, we're watching all sorts of things kind of come apart, but we're also really building something amazing and new and glorious. And that's the intention. I think that will be a beautiful thing to hold for 2022, is that we are building and creating a real new reality here. So I'm going to use 4 decks here for this reading. One is my Spirit Animal Awareness cards, or you're going to use another animal deck too. This is the Susie Green deck, Animal Messages. And also for each one, I'm going to be working actually with the 4 bodies: the mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical. And as we do, I'm just asking for support and whatever Spirit wants to send us in terms of helping us to bolster those 4 bodies of ours, right? And oh, thank you for your comments. Hi, Nikki, and hi, Joanna. I'm getting a little bit of a delay here. It's probably maybe about a couple-minute delay before I see your comments, but I really appreciate your comments. And if you have any questions, or if you have any comments of your own, if you're getting downloads throughout this whole reading, type them in the chat, because your downloads are going to help everybody. Okay, so we're going to use the Spirit Animal Awareness, the Susie Green deck. I have this beautiful illustrated herbiary, so I want to get the plant kingdom in here. And I may pull an angel card or 2 as well. And so just one last little word about 2022. What the biggest message that I'm getting about this coming year is really alignment with nature, because this is where where all of humanity has kind of gotten off track, gotten out of alignment with the just nature itself. Which, there's all sorts of things out there. There's all sorts of gurus, telling all sorts of things, right? Also, you can go online and you can get all this advice, or the spiritual channelings and all this, but none of it comes none of it is actually direct, right? Except for going actually into nature and seeing what nature has to speak to us. So any religious text, any channeler, any guru, whatever they have to say can be valuable, but it is not going to be the direct knowledge, the direct wisdom that we get when we go into nature and we see what nature has to give us. Okay, so just wanted to put it out there that 2022, I think the more we can start really bringing ourselves back into the natural world, realigning with the natural world, that's the path that humanity can take in order to really create an Eden, another heaven on earth. All right, so moving forward, I'm going to start with, I think, the physical body, and supporting the physical body moving into 2022. And this is going to be, not sure when, I think this will, let me see if I can get this thing to go down so we can see the actual reading. And I may not be able to see your comments as well, but there we go. Here's the table. And so what we can do. Okay, so supporting the physical body in 2022. And I also kind of am thinking of doing a reading for like love and relationships and one for finance and business. Okay, so the first card to come up is Otter, and it's coming up upside down as a challenger, and I'm kind of feeling like there's been a lack of playfulness. You know, there may be a challenge to the spirit of play, and our bodies are one way that we can really help to get back into that sense of play, that sense of wonder that we need to be in. This otter is dancing, right? And so dance is an incredible way to clear energy, to make yourself, you know, bring back the light into the body, into the physical space that you're in. So anything that you can do to create movement, because as we all know, stuck energy is going to be energy that, you know, contributes to disease, contributes to feeling unwell. And so the more we can keep that energy moving in the space, whether it's in your home space or your actual body, that's going to be a real support for the physical health. Let's pull another animal card here for the physical body. Now, the physical body in the system that I'm using corresponds with the direction of north. And normally I would start with east, but somehow it felt right to start with the physical body. Okay, and this is frog. Okay, and I love the message here: adapt and survive by accepting the inevitable and seizing potential. Okay, and this may, coming up in the physical, this could pertain to, you know, the material things around you. It could pertain to your physical health, or, you know, even just this accepting the inevitable. We're in this cycle right now, in, you know, the human species is in the cycle of almost moving into winter, moving into this kind of decline and fall. And you know, if we accept that we are in a cycle of moving through something, and that, you know, that there are times where it's a little bit harder to move around, or a little bit harder to do things, in times where things come easy, right? And so just kind of looking around at the cycles that you're in and accepting what's there. But then once we have that acceptance, there is so much opportunity out there. And I think we'll touch on that later, especially when we talk about financial and relationships and that kind of thing. But there's, you know, if you can't do things with on the physical level that normally you could, maybe you can't get outside as much, or you can't do this or that, look and start to see, well, what can I do? What can I do to, you know, to bring my body into alignment, given the reality of the way things are? And you might be surprised if you start looking at, you know, the positive things, you know, that there's a lot out there. So frog is also this beautiful, very sensitive creature, and you can't really see it, but they've got really big eardrums, and so I'm kind of getting listen for the guidance. Listen, because your guidance, your own inner guru, is like there's two things that we can really rely on, I think. And you know, I kind of mentioned you know, other outside gurus, but each of us has an inner guru, and that's where the real wisdom comes in. And I think that's where part of this year is going to be helping us, you know, whether through trial or through gifts, to really come more into alignment with our own inner guru. And sometimes the challenges come along in order to help us to learn to discern what's coming from within and what is actually, you know, not ours, that we don't really need to put a lot of stock in. Or we can always kind of think about, well, what is that really true for me? Is that really true? Okay, so I'm going to pull an herbal card here to support as well. And this again is the physical body and the direction of north. And the one coming through is Comfrey, which is a real healing card. It's Comfrey is good for, as I understand it, good for like kind of bone setting or just kind of structural healing. So looking, and especially, with the physical body, might be a good idea to make a habit of just scanning your body. What needs mending? What is it? Things show up in the physical body if we suppress things emotionally, or we're anxious or whatever. If we're not even things that we're not even aware will show up in the physical body. So you can look to the body to show you kind of what might be off balance. Um, and there's this beautiful butterfly, and remembering also that this is a period of transformation that we're in. And sometimes that requires really going within and getting still. So, if nothing else, throughout this year of 2022, coming to stillness can be a really deeply, deeply healing practice. And anytime anything feels overwhelming, consider, just spending a little time in stillness. Cocoon yourself, and you can bring yourself into a space of just really connecting with that inner world. So we'll put that here. Okay. And if you want to use this as sort of a kind of a yearly thing, maybe think in terms of first quarter for that. This whole message of honoring that physical body. All right, so I'm going to move into the mental body. And this is the mind, everything that the mind stands for, mental processes. Red Panda. This one's also coming up as a challenger. Okay, so, and the thing that's coming up to me is kind of the inner space, and it can be really isolating sometimes if we are, so wrapped up in maybe even what's going on, or sometimes our mind can be so latched on to whatever the latest story is on the news, or the latest whatever it is we have to do, and that can bring us more and more into isolation, because it pulls us away. When the mind is going round and round and round, it can pull us away from our inner guidance. It can pull us away from spirit. It actually can pull us away from other people, right? If all we're doing is focusing on what's wrong, we're not looking for what's right. And so Red Panda, again, is another super quiet and can really help us to bring back to stillness if the mind is chattering a lot. Coming back to stillness, coming back to just breathe, right? And maybe find something just enjoyable to do that's creative, remembering that the mind is this amazing creative tool, right? And it's going to, you're going to create what you put into it, the kind of energy that you put into it. So looking really at where's your energy level. Something about the pattern in the tail is reminding me of vibration, right? So what are the vibrations of your thoughts? And what are you bringing to the table with your thoughts and the frequency that you're at? The mind is an amazing tool for noticing the frequency and being able to bring it back. And there's so many different ways that we can use the mind, but we have to be aware of it, right? So staying aware this year. Black Panther is the second one coming forward, again as a challenger. Sensuality and passion stir beneath a cloak of secrecy. Let me, I don't know if you can see him. This is really, really powerful animal. And hi, Marvita. Happy New Year to you too. Okay, so Black Panther, Eddie the Jaguars, right? These are, oh my gosh, the jaguar is like a shaman animal, right? And it is super powerful. This is coming forward to remind us of the power of our own minds, right? The power of your mind. You are creating a reality. Now, of course, we're co-creating. We don't create in a vacuum. So we are all collectively co-creating, but you do have a lot of power over how your own life unfolds, right? We can't control everything, but we can control our thoughts, our reaction to it. And Black Panther is this amazingly powerful ally coming forward right now to really remind us of your power, your own power to create, your power to control right? How you react to situations, and also to envision. You can use the mind to envision a new reality, and you hold that vision in your third eye and keep coming back to it, make, again, with that vibration, right? It's the visualization combined with the vibration, right? Holding that vibration high, that's going to create the reality that you want to bring into the world. Okay, so let me pull a card here for the plants from the plant kingdoms to support mental activity and the mind in 2022. Rosemary, remembrance. I think this is a gorgeous card, if you can see it. One of the things that I'm noticing about this card is the smoke that's coming forward, and smoke really evokes dream time, right? So allowing your mind to move into dream time is super important. It's like, if you're like, I'm a really highly mental person, right? It's really easy for my mind to start taking control. And if you are really if you've done a lot of spiritual work, your mind will become more and more aware. And while that is generally a good thing, what can happen is that the mind can become so aware that at certain times it might be a little more difficult to get into that dream time without the mind realizing what's going on, right? And so sometimes we have to move along with that physical body and use the mind and the mental, right, in order to access that spiritual, right? Helping them to counterbalance. That's where I would come back to, like this card with the otter and the dancing, right? Working with the spiritual or the physical body can help to bring that mind into balance, right? Super, super important. But I want to come back to this idea of remembrance, remembering who you are. And it seems to me like there may be a message here in the guidebook. This is from Maya Toll, her deck here. And because it feels to me like there's a message in here that wants to be relayed. Let's see, 156, I think. Okay. Okay. Oh, I think this was all about, a lot of it about the ancestors, right? It says, in Victorian times, Rosemary was said to say, "Remember me." This is but a small part of her magic. Rosemary can ease remembrance, softening sharp edges, or she can dredge the distant past, pulling on your DNA to bring forward the longings of lineage. The past is encoded in our cellular memory. Rosemary whispers, "Sink into the knowledge that lives in your bones. Let memory rise up from the body of your being," right? And then honoring ancestral memory. Remember that the ancestors are always with us, okay? That is a super powerful, I think it's really interesting that's coming up along with this black jaguar, right? Ancestral memory, that we have a direct connection through our bodies, through our minds, through our spiritual bodies, to the ancestors. The raven is also coming forward as a messenger, spirit messenger, okay? And to really assist us in moving forward. I think this card really speaks more to the spiritual body intrinsically, but it's showing up here in the mind area. And so I think just consciously remembering, we can include our ancestors, right, in our planning, in our, remembering what it is to be one with nature. I think that's going to be a big, big theme moving forward. All right, so let's move forward. Now we are going to be going on my medicine wheel here. This is going to be the south and into the spiritual body. So support for our spiritual selves moving forward in 2022. Vulture, okay? Also coming up as a challenger, really meaning that this may be something that it doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be challenging, but it may mean that usually our ascension is a process of moving through challenges, right? And the challenges are teachers. So remembering that whatever challenges may come up, they're teachers, right? And they're here to assist us. So even whatever shows up is always there so that we can develop and learn. Okay, so Vulture is a big purification card. Purification is really the ascension path, right? It is peeling away anything that is not truth, is not true to who we are. um, Transcendence, and a circle of life too. Remembering that death and life are two sides of the same coin, that death in its positive sense actually supports life, right? So when we start accepting the cycle of life and seeing death in its place, right? When we start focusing on death as, oh no, oh no, oh no, we're giving power to the negative aspect of death, okay? And that is anti-life. That's the, kind of the quote unquote evil agenda. Evil is just, if you spell it backwards, you see it says live, right? So it's just that force that wants to kind of counteract the life force, the kundalini, the ascension, right? It's there, it's part of nature, right? The law of polarity states that we've got both positive and negative moving around, but Vulture helps us to understand the place that holds in the world and to not be afraid of it, right? So when we cease being afraid of death, we can see that it has a positive, and death can mean anything. It could be the ending of a cycle of your own, within your own life. It could be the ending of a relationship. It could be the ending of a move. It could be anything. Any kind of ending is always going to be opening the door to new beginnings, right? So holding that in the heart, right? That Vulture is actually a beautiful kind of, it symbolizes purifying, getting rid of what's old, what's no longer supporting, and then so that we can start to live again. Um, okay, so that is the first card for the spiritual support of the spiritual self in 2022. Oh boy, I love this one. Another bird, peacock. All right, protect your heart. So peacock is a wonderful, wonderful bird because it's really like stretch your stuff, right? Here, 2022 is this year where we're just being called to really move forward, and peacock just shows himself to the world, right? He shows his beauty, and this is a wonderful year, I feel, to really show the world the beauty of your own soul, to acknowledge the beauty in your life, the beauty of your soul, and to really strut your stuff, not in a way that it that's bragging or anything like that, not in a super prideful way, but just in a way of every one of us is a child of God. Every one of us is a spark of the divine, has that divine spark within us. And when we start to really unself-consciously allow that part of ourself that is brilliant and beautiful, and allowing that to shine forth and really spreading the beauty of what you are, who you are. Part of this includes allowing yourself to do what brings you joy, right? Look at all the eyes too. It's just like really opening one's eyes to the beauty that is in the world for us, right? To enjoy, opening one's eyes to the abundance that's in the world. Nature is abundant, and when we're coming back into a more natural way of being, we start to realize just how much abundance is out there for us. And we've been mind controlled into thinking that abundance and tying it in with money, and sometimes it is, but abundance is everywhere, right? There is no reason to have, like, there's a lot of poverty mentality going on. And so this is sort of a challenge to say, hey, look, anytime you're feeling out of sorts or whatever, look for any kind of poverty mentality, any kind of victim mentality. It's time for that to go, right? And to realize the abundance that's out there for us. Part of that is really allowing yourself to follow your bliss. And also giving gratitude. And I think this especially goes in the job, career, life purpose area. I mean, it goes in a lot of areas too, but I feel like especially this is calling to be said for life purpose, and in terms of making a living, because a lot of us have tied up a lot of our time and energy into jobs or whatever that don't feel like they're part of our purpose. But what if we turn that on its head? What if if you're in a job that you don't enjoy, just send it incredible blessings. Bless the hell out of that job, okay? Bless the hell out of it. Give ultimate gratitude to, the that it's allowing you to support your physical body or whatever, is coming forward. And also open the door, open the eyes to the abundance that's there, and allow yourself to, if you're not doing exactly what you want to be doing, start acting as if, right? If maybe you want to paint or something, maybe you want to be an artist, well, start doing it, right? And it doesn't matter, don't be judgmental about it, just allow yourself to do it, allow yourself to have fun, notice the vibration. If like I personally, I have found myself in the last few years keep saying, if I had to do it over again, I think I'd probably go into horticulture. I've said that, I can't remember how many times in the last 5 years. Well, I finally have started gardening, of gardening a neighbor's garden for them too, and I just signed up for a course in permaculture. So it's like I'm 53 years old coming up on it. So it's like it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. Don't ever tell yourself you can't. Whatever it is that your soul is calling to you to do, as long as you allow yourself to, whatever little step might be in that direction, just take it and allow yourself to strut forward in the world. All right, Kami, please, please, please post this live on your page. Yeah, I'll be leaving it up. It'll be right on there. So if you can't make it all through all the way, then absolutely you can catch the replay. All right, so one more card is supporting the physical body here in 2022. This is Heart's Home, Hawthorn tree. And I love this phrase, heart's home, right? Coming into the heart, I think, is the most powerful thing, right, that we can ever do, especially right now. I love that this tree is in the middle of, it's got all the elements, right? It's right in the center. And just this golden heart and a little door here. You can see the water, the sun, and also kind of earth and sun. It's so centered, it's so balanced. And again, this reminder to look to nature. Nature has the patterning for everything that we need, right? It's got all the lessons. And you can always, if you're finding something is off or you don't feel centered or balanced, find nature wherever you are. Even in the middle of a city, you can find nature. And I really suggest finding nature directly. Even if you're in the city, look and see, there might be a dandelion sprouting through the cracks or something that's going to come through, a wild bird that's going to come through and speak to you. And yes, it is an incredibly beautiful card. Again, this is the illustrated herbiary deck from my atoll. All right, so that will be the support for this spiritual body in 2022. And I really encourage you, if this reading is calling to you, don't leave it at just the beginning of the year. You can come back to this year after year, or I'm sorry, month after month, and re-look at it, and there will be additional messages that unpack themselves for you. By the way, if you're getting downloads during this whole time, feel free to put those in chat, because that's valid too. Okay, so the last body here is the emotional body that we're going to be supporting here with this reading. And again, coming up as spider, another one coming up as a challenger. Don't be afraid of the challenges, okay? It just means that it's coming up as a real teacher here. So emotional body, I'd say when we are looking at spider energy in its negative spinning, right? If the spider is spinning in a negative direction, that always speaks to me of kind of vampiric energy and a narcissistic patterning. So really watch out for that. And one of the biggest things in terms of all narcissistic patterning is the blame game, right? So blaming. And even if you find yourself in a dealing with some kind of a narcissistic teacher out there, teacher of any kind, where everybody in your life is a teacher. If you're finding that, then really resist the whole blame thing. Either you're going to need to deal with that person, but it's really easy to fall into, oh, it's their fault and they're a narcissist and blah blah blah. And really, rather, the lesson is like, where are your boundaries, and what are appropriate ways for you to really protect your own boundaries, right? and stop getting wrapped up in other people's emotions. Realize that whatever their emotions are, does not mean that you have to follow suit. It's really easy as empaths to start to resonate right with somebody else's emotions, but we don't need to do that. Okay, and when we use our minds and become very aware of what's going on and the power of our own minds, we can start to recognize any kind of gaslighting or narcissistic patterning that's preying on our own emotions, and start to realize, well, I have the power to change this, and I have the power to, defend my own boundaries so that I don't get wrapped up into somebody else's stuff. Anything that you feels like, is wrapping you up, just forget that. So like, but we can turn that spider energy in a positive direction, because it's really, I think the emotional awareness and being like a spider is so sensitive, right? So we can use our emotional awareness to get a feel for what's going on around us so that we can react appropriately. Okay, that's a more appropriate reaction, way to use that by the spidey senses. Okay, so, and these are all lessons that I am learning just as much as everybody else, I promise you. Oh, right, and I love this one, bear, coming up. Also, as a supporter for the emotional body, I love this. Bear knows himself, right? He doesn't care what other people think. And so one of the challenges for this year may be to really again, be in alignment with, figure out for yourself. Everybody has to figure this out for yourself. You know, what are the truths that you are upholding for yourself? Where do you recognize truth, and what doesn't feel right to you? There are a lot of narratives out there, right? There are a lot of narratives, and there's a lot of narratives that are trying to get you to be less than who you are, to run in fear, narratives that are telling, guilt narratives. That's a big one right now. Oh, if you don't do this, then you're throwing everybody else under the bus. But Bear is like, he doesn't put up with crap. Okay, Bear does what's natural to Bear, and he doesn't really put up with anybody else getting in his way. Now, this doesn't mean, freedom doesn't mean to go out and do whatever the heck you want with no regard to consequences, right? So, being aware of natural law and how that works is a really, really powerful tool to help to counterbalance the emotional attacks that may happen. Okay. Also, Bear's saying nurture creativity and return to the sweetness of life. A beautiful message, because I think that is something that that can be an incredibly powerful practice this year. There's always going to be a silver lining. There's always going to be some sweetness out there. The world, for crying out loud, right now needs more sweetness, right? And Bear can bring that. The power of Bear, the ability to just be true to yourself and find that sweetness is beautiful. All right, let's pull another one of these beautiful herbiary cards to support the emotional body in 2022. Okay. Here is, chickweed. This is one of my favorite little edibles out there, wild edibles, is chickweed. It says start fresh. I love that. She's holding up, and look at this. It's looking at the minutiae, the little things, right? The little things that make a difference. Chickweed is actually a really powerful healing. I don't know that much about its qualities. If you do, you might want to put them in the chat for everybody. But chickweed to me always was this really fresh tasting little plant. It tastes amazing. If you've never had it, look for it this summer. But I love how it's holding up the magnifying, asking us to really look deeply, right? Chickweed has these 8 little petals, and somehow it's all in the zodiac here with the stars behind it. So remembering that you are a star being, right? You're a star being. And that wherever you are right now, if you're in the moment right now, it's a fresh start. So whatever's happened, it can clean out, just clearing out whatever happened in the past is in the past. and that we can take that as a learning tool as teachers that have come before us, but then we take that knowledge and we can start from this moment on something new. Okay, what do you really want to bring into the world? Again, you know, you can stretch your stuff, right? So, okay, chickweed, start fresh. I love that. All right, so that is the four bodies reading. I'm going to pull an angel card to really kind of tie it all together to bring in the angelic support, and then I'll do another quick reading for love and relationships and one for business and finance. Okay. Oh, this is, I can't think of a more perfect card. Breathe and become aware. There's that tree again. All right. So trees are the only creature that I know of. Well, like we humans are the only creature that I know of it that we really share an energetic profile with trees, right? So breathe and become aware. You know, the tree is so rooted in the ground, so grounded, and it's so reaching up to the light. And that act of breathing, trees are like the lungs of the planet. Look how the lungs, or the structure of a tree really mirrors the structure of the inside of the lung. And so trees do teach us to breathe, and the importance of breath. This is something we can come back to every single day, every single moment, right? That we're breathing is a prayer. And we can use that breath to really call in spirits, to balance the body, mind, heart, all of it. Okay, so breathe and become aware. I love that. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of adjust this up a little bit. And yeah, the chickweed is a beautiful card too. All right, so let's see if I can, this is kind of a weird setup for the camera, but all right, so let's pull a couple cards for relationships and love. And if you have a particular type of relationship that you're interested in, drop that in the chat. But I think I'm just going to sort of do a generic right now, and I'm going to pull up here. Okay, Beaver. Beaver coming up, reminding us that, you know, Beaver's a busybody. He's always working, but he's doing it to protect his family, right? Beaver is a really, really family-oriented critter, and also boundaries are a big one for Beaver. Okay, they're very, very territorial. So being aware of your boundaries and how you need to protect your relationships. First of all, your relationship with spirit, right? Your relationship with your higher self. Then your relationship with your own self, how you need to protect, you know, whatever it is that you need for yourself. That could be time, that could be finances, it could be space. Okay, so first you're you know, protecting the connection with God or spirit, then protecting what you need to thrive, and then looking at, okay, what else do you need to do to protect your relationship or to work on your relationships, right? But never letting a relationship with somebody else get in between you and spirit, or to really infringe on your own needs, right? This is of course not the same as, like, you know, putting yourself first in a selfish way. It's just like really acknowledging your own needs. All right, and let's see, let's do another one for love or relationships. And this could be family relationships, it could be work relationships, or it could be romantic relationships. So, okay, Tortoise. When changes are made for the sake of change itself, resist. Okay. I think this is what it's saying, is kind of don't be afraid to go slow, right? Whether it's a relationship that's coming up, and this could be a love relationship or a business one, or whatever kind of relationship. If it's a new relationship, it's okay to take it slow and easy. In fact, that's probably a good thing. It's somebody who doesn't respect your timing or needing a little time, you know, that may not be somebody that really is going to respect you in other ways as well. Somebody said, oh, Joanna, beaver dams between yourself and somebody else. Okay, that could be something coming up too, right? With the beaver. And so looking in terms of where you or somebody might have built a dam or built barriers, right? And so barriers can be healthy, they can be healthy boundaries, but they can also be something that maybe we need to work on letting a little of that water, letting a little of that motion through, right? Any kind of blockage, right? So something to look at as well. Turtle. Also, you know, is the timing of this relationship right for you? Maybe it's slow, but sometimes it might be too slow. Is there a, you know, there the shell again is a real barrier, a tough shell, and sometimes we have to just let loose the shell a little bit, you know, allow ourselves to be a little more vulnerable to allow the relationship to do what it needs to do. And let me pull a plant card for love and relationships as well. I should love these beautiful herbiary cards. Oh my goodness, passion flower coming up. I love this. So this could be a year where the passion starts to flower, right? um, so and look at, isn't this a beautiful card with all the crystals, right? So if you are calling in romance, you know, this could be a powerful year for that to happen. And just remember that, you know, it's leaving it up to spirit who the actual real good match is, right? And sometimes we have our heart set on somebody, but always ask, you know, this or something better, because when that special someone does come forward and is the match meant for you, it is like just as amazing as this card, right? So holding yourself open to that, holding, I'm getting really heart energy, holding yourself in the heart in all ways can really help to pave the way open for that. Great. So these are, let's see, where did I go? Okay, so these three animals and plants, these critters, supporting the love and emotions here. All right, and one more reading. I wanted to do one for finance, financial health, and this could also be career or business support as well in 2022, because there's so much happening in 2022 that will affect finances, and not all negatively. There's a lot of opportunity out there right now. And if you're not seeing opportunity, that might be a call to start creating opportunity, right? Sloth, okay, coming up. So let's see. Contemplation is one thing that's coming up here. And really, you know, if things don't seem to be working for you, then really feel into that, because every single, you know, challenge is always a door opening, right? So feel into, well, what is it that really wants to happen? Remember the heart's desire idea of, you know, allowing yourself in this year to do what you want. Some people will be losing their jobs this year, and if you do, it's like, well, there is an opportunity to allow yourself to start exploring things that you really have been wanting to do. Cooperation, interdependence, other things, right? Huge opportunity there for this year is, you know, finding commonalities or finding ways that you can work with others for common good. I think I can see 2022 being a major year for that kind of activity. I'm actually doing that with neighbors. They've got some land, they're disabled, I'm gardening it for them. We're both profiting from that, right? With the vegetables coming out of it. Interdependence, recognizing that we're all connected, right? Shadow side of sloth, one of them is procrastination or just being too sluggish on things. Like there may be opportunities coming up that, you know, you got to really sort of contemplate, feel into it, and then take action, because you know, things are shifting really fast. And if it feels good, to your mind, body, spirit, go for it. Okay, let's see. Let's find another card. This one's coming up right away. Seal, hard work, and inspiration are the foundation of true creativity. I love that. It's listen for spirit and then take action on it. And that's great advice for anything financial. but this is, I think, going to be in spades in 2022. Listen for those little seeds of inspiration, and then just put it into action. I think that fits really well with the sloth message, right? Jump on it if it feels solid to you. And then, oh, owl. This is a California poppy, it says, but it's really, the owl is so prominent. See, resurrection. Oh, I love this. Okay, resurrection. And I think that says it all, right? This is a time of, things coming apart and things growing up, coming together, resurrection. So whatever, if you have a job loss, a financial loss, whatever it is, let that be, there's something in that is going to sow the seed for new life for you. Okay. I'm going to actually look at, it feels like she might have something in this book also that's some wisdom, because I'm not seeing the connection with California poppy. So 76. Okay. Oh, sometimes the day needs to disappear so you can sink into the lush blackness of night. Sometimes your eyes, whether open or shut, need the inky darkness of forgetting. Golden poppy lives in both sun and shadow. She opens her petals in daylight and closes them when night comes, giving in easily, knowing resurrection will come with the dawn. It's okay to sleep without dreaming, poppy soothes, to fall deep and far. Have no fear, day will come, and you'll once again stretch and unfurl. Okay, so again, that message of acceptance and allowing things to unfold. There's going to be a lot of unfolding this year, allowing it to happen, and then letting yourself just kind of sometimes, the nighttime self is a time to observe and to really, sometimes we have to get into that dark space in order to find out, that in order to really see that seed of light within. Okay, we have this beautiful flame within, and sometimes we don't actually see how bright it is until we find ourselves in the dark. Okay, so very good. Thank you so much, and I so appreciate you guys watching. If you've enjoyed this, and if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. This coming year, I just want to tell you about a couple things before I hang up here. I will be doing a lot more on natural law, because that's something I'm studying myself. I wanted to bring that forward. And as well as I'll probably be spending more time out in the garden and doing just kind of whatever nature is calling for me to relate to you. Also on, I'll just try to get this a little bit more in better perspective. Here we go. January 9th, I will be doing a spirit animal, kind of a Q&A, just sort of ask me anything session. And that will be, I think it's a week from today here. I think it's 4 p.m., whatever. I'll have the link to that. I'll put the link to that below when I'm done with this, so that if you're interested, you just sign up. It's free. Yeah, so any questions about spirit animals that you want to bring forward, just sign up and we'll be there. It'll be a full hour over Zoom, so you can ask me anything, virtual face to virtual face. All right, with that said, have a wonderful, wonderful 2022, and remember, you were born to be free.